Today, Penny will be telling you a little bit about the marking guide that's a feature of the assignment tool in eLearn, and then I'll tell you a bit about the completion block. So over to you, Penny.
Thank you very much, Colin. Carol and Kerry, have you used the marking guide before? Carol, no. Oh, Kerry, you've used the rubric. How did you find the rubric? Oh, you have rubric questions. Oh, Kerry. Okay, I'll try my best with those. Let's see what, rubric didn't work well at the conference. Okay. Okay, well how about we'll run quickly through the marking guide and then we'll try and answer any questions that we can actually help. I actually find the marking guide is probably better than the rubric, especially if it's a competent or not yet competent subject. So I take it you can see my screen, so it should be you can see assignment, assessment with a marking guide example. No.
No, I can just see kind of grey bluey kind of screen, and yeah, it's just blank.
So it's not sharing. Okay. How about if I stop sharing and then I'll do a share again. Can you tell me if you're seeing it now?
No, not me. Do you want to try a different browser?
I've got one in IE and one in Chrome. You'd think that would do, really, wouldn't you?
You'd hope.
Let me just see if I can do share my screen instead. And I'll do a window. Okay, what's it sharing now?
Yes, success.
Okay, can you see the eLearn stuff?
Yep, you got a lesson module, assessment and conditional release.
Beautiful. Don't you love it when technology gets in the way of a good example? Here you go. So the marking guide here, you can see that it's similar to put in, well, it's part of an assessment, so it's part of the assignment tool. So it's the same to put in, but I'll show you where you actually click to say whether you want a marking guide or not. So I'm just going to scroll down. Okay, and so we've got grade here, and I've got it set to 100% at the moment, but you can see here you've got simple, actually I'm not sure if you can see pop-ups, simple, marking guide and rubric.
Yep, yeah, no, I can see that.
You can see that? Okay, whoops, so it's on marking guide at the moment. Yep, you can. I'm not going to save that because it'll just confuse it, but that's where you actually tell it that you want to do it. Once you've done that, it'll actually prompt you to make your guide, but I'll show you what it looks like as a teacher to mark something first, and then I'll show you how to actually develop one. So it's like when you're marking everything, you can go in here, you can see that I've put something in for Colin, something for Kerry and something for Margaret. So since Margaret's not here and won't get offended, I'll mark hers. So basically you get the option to open their document, so obviously you'd be opening that and reading it and then scoring on your way through. I've actually put this information in here. Now what they see and what, well, this is what the teacher will see. So you can see the top two lines of that first one, ethical issues, is what the student would see, and then I've got a sample answer in there for that one for the actual marker. So you can give the marker some more information than the student actually sees. In this next one here, I've just given them all the information as well. So you can actually type in here and you can say well done. Well, or you can actually go down and use some of your frequently used comments. Now I think this is one of the best things, so I can actually say for this first one, excellent work. You've shown a good grasp of what it is. Let's give a 5 out of 5 for that one. So with this next one, I've read her answer and it's not quite as good. So I can go down to my comments and say, okay, well, good exam, good effort, you've got a basic understanding. So you can see here how you can put in your standard comments, and you can actually then, it makes it a lot quicker and easier when you actually do your marking. You can of course just type in here as well and score it, so you don't actually have to always use the frequently used comments. And if they actually need to resubmit something, you can actually put in a good try, but you'll need to resubmit your responses. And I've actually been a bit nasty there. Your response to the question lacked depth. Do some critical reflection before you submit. Ouch, that's a bit of a hard lesson to learn. So let's give them a 10. So you can see that it's really easy once you've actually set it up and done all that thinking to actually do it. Yeah, Carol, you can set all your standard comments up in advance before you even look at it, and I'll show you how to do that. And so once we've done that, we can just do Save Changes. And you can see now that Margaret has actually been marked, and she'll actually get an email as well to say that she's actually been graded. I'll show you now what the student's going to see. Let me just swap to student view. So when a student comes in, they can actually see the submission grading with the marking guide example on the right under the navigation. Oh, and I clicked on the wrong one. Here's the submission grading. And you can see here this is what the student sees. So they can actually see the criteria with which they're going to be marked. So I'm just waiting for Carol to see if she's got a question. So the student has an option to edit their submission. I haven't seen that before. I think I have the option to edit my submission because of my status, and I might not have... Oh no, I probably have actually set that up in the settings. But they can't edit it once they've actually been marked. Mine hasn't been graded. Putting in the model answer. So how about what we'll do is I'll show you how to set one up, and I'll show you where you can put the model answer in. I'll just turn my editing on. Well, return to my normal role first. The grading of this one too seems to be more accurate. The problem that most people have with the rubric is getting it either to say yes it's competent or not yet competent, because it tends to try and do a little bit of that thinking for you. Okay, so we'll put another one in here. That's an assignment. And I'll just put in marking guide example today. And I'm going to be very slack and just put the same description in there. I'm going to unenable the assignment settings for the submission. And then I can leave everything else the same. Okay, so you can see here how it's got the required to click submission button. I normally turn that one on. And notify graders, yes. Not notify about late ones. Online text, well with this one it's just going to be full submission. Upload limits okay. And yes, we want them to be able to submit. So where it says here, I'm going to do marking guide. Okay, so that's the basis of it, is just set up now. So then when you do, can I maximise my screen? There you go, is that better? So, okay, so when you do a save and display, it's actually going to come up with the next screen that's going to get you to do your marking guide. So you can see here now, I've got the option to either create a new one from a template or do one from scratch. You can use, yes, you can use competent, not yet competent, etc. Like you can with other eLearn ones. So with this one, student marking guide, I'll just put marking guide. I'm just going to put rubbish in, because or else I have to think about it too much. This assignment is 1 to 10. 10 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 to based on your competencies. Okay, so to put in for what the student sees, so you need a description of what it is, and so I might call this one designing learning objects, so that's the name of the criteria, and then you click to put the description in for the students. So it might be here, tell me about the object you designed and why. So for the description for the markers, this is where you can put model answer in. Model answer can go here. Okay, so and you know, you can put in your blah blah blah, and you can put in quite a big long answer there as well. So Kerry, you can have quite a substantial one there, and then you can put the mark in. So let's have that one 50. So if we now want to put another one in, we just click to add another criteria, click to put in the name of the next criteria. So this one I'll actually call critical reflection. So the student, the information from them, critically reflect on blah 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 blah. Description to markers, make sure the answer contains the following, and we'll make it 50. It is similar to the rubric so far, but the marking seems to be clearer in this one, where with the rubric, if you have too many things in the lower ones, it tends to make it not yet competent. So with your frequently used comments, you just put it in here. Good work. You can add another one. Remember to click to enter. Great work. I'm being very inventive and great feedback here. You didn't really read the criteria question, because I can't spell criteria while I'm talking. Yeah, that often with the rubric, that is the problem. It's not as clear as it should be. It has actually been improved in 2.6, which will be in January. Can you show us without the mark? Sure. Okay, so this one I'm going to say is finished. So I'm actually going to save and make it ready for use. Okay, so this one's now ready for the students to actually use it. So when they go in, it'll be there for them. Now if we do it without the mark, since nobody's done this one yet, let me just go back and I'll edit my settings. Custom competence. Should get what we want. And then just save and display. And I wonder what the marking guide's going to do now. Let's have a look, now that I've just changed that one. Now if you actually want to edit your marking guide after you've done the first one, if you go into settings when you're in the, you can see that I'm in the assignment here. If you go into your advanced settings here, you can see here that now I can edit it. I can just go in the edit. Oh, I'm not sure what we'd put here. Wonder if we leave it blank, what happens? Yeah, didn't like it without a maximum grade. Wonder if I can put a... No, it's actually going to want numbers in there, I think. Sorry, Kerry, I didn't do that beforehand. I didn't investigate that very well, because I've always just done it with numbers that I know we're not allowed to do. So even though there's numbers in there, let's see if I actually dump somebody's assignment in there now, and if we can actually just have it sitting as competent or not yet competent. Okay, let me see if I've still got somebody else's account open. Which would be nice, and I don't. That's always the way, isn't it? And all this information too, well, I've got it is in actually a marking guide, in a how-to guide. So if you have any more questions, or if I explained it too quick, you can always just go in and have a look at the how-to guide. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to quickly log in as one of the students for the course, and I'm going to submit something, and we'll see what happens to the grade. Colin, is it alright if I do you?
Yep, no worries.
I was going to say I'll take the silence as acceptance. Yeah. So if you've got any questions while we're going as well, feel free to ask. The marking guide's really good for giving that feedback, and because it keeps it on eLearn as well, it's quite good, because what that means is that when the auditors are looking for feedback sheets, you've already got them sitting on eLearn. And I love that you can put all your standard feedback in, because you do really get sick of writing the same thing over and over again. Sorry, my machine's doing lots of thinking at the moment. Resubmitting is a bit hard. You generally have to open a new one to actually do the resubmitting. But you should be able to amend results pretty easily. I'll show you how to do that in a sec. So Colin is actually a teacher in this one too, so I'll just make sure when I go in that I make his role to a student. Yep, you can delete it, and you don't even have to delete it. You can just go back to your settings and do it as a simple marking, or you can change it to a rubric. So if it doesn't work, you can. But if students have already submitted and you've sent stuff out to them, I'm not actually sure what happens to that. It might disappear as well once you've changed it. Well, do you really want the students to be able to edit the assignments after you've done them? Once they're submitted, they should be the true thing. The true thing. That was great English, wasn't it? Okay, so Colin's in as a student now. Let me just do... Whoop, wrong one. Don't you hate it when you're too quick? Yeah, I suppose the problem when, Carol, I'm just having a look at your question. The problem if you actually want to give them feedback before they actually submit it, then it's really not an assessment item, it's sort of formative assessment. So it's a little bit hard to either use it as assessment or as formative rather than trying to do both. They can upload more than one file, but as soon as they press submission, then that should be the end of it. So I'm going to add a submission here for Colin. So Carol, are you saying that now they can edit their submissions, or they can't? Oh, but they used to be able to. Yeah, I agree that lots of resubmission links isn't very good. I'll have a look at the 2.6 and see. Maybe that's something that you can test for us week after next when we open up for testing. This is just submitting. Yeah, so once it's submitted they can't make any more changes to it. I wonder if that's a setting too. We'll have to have a look at that in a minute. Oh, sorry Colin, I took more than my 15 minutes, didn't I? So it's just submitting now. I'm just going to shut that one down. So now if I go back in as the teacher and have a look at Colin's assignment here. So I should be able to put in a... It's still going to ask me for a number there, isn't it, rather than a C. I don't think it's going to let me put a C in, even though we asked it to do that. Let me just try and save the changes and see what happens. Yeah, saying it's not valid. Okay, Kerry will do a little bit of work on that too to find out exactly what's going to happen. Okay, even it came up as 100%, it came up as a UP though, so the students will actually be seeing the UP rather than the percentages. But it sort of goes against everything we're telling you to do, doesn't it, using the percentages. So here you can actually update the grade too. So can you see how I've gone to Actions and Update Grade? So it takes me back in here so I can update it. Okay, so now it actually says resets needed. That was pretty cool, wasn't it? Okay, so that's basically it with the marking guide. The key points to remember are, if you've already done all the work, which most of you will have because you'll have set it up for your subject guide, then cut and paste it from there into your marking guide. Quite easy to set up. Make sure you just tick that marking guide when you're doing the assignment setup. And we have a look at the gradebook in student view. Okay, let me just go back to Colin. Just go to gradebook. Oh, he's got it all over here. Oh. I don't actually think that one's doing anything. I'm just gonna... Oh, there we go. Okay, it does actually still put the percentage in. I can see what you mean there, Kerry. I'll have a look and see what we can do. We might actually be able to get that column removed. Yep, I'll have a look and see if we can do that. It won't be this year, I'm sorry, because the system's frozen with the pending upgrade in January. Well, it's a point upgrade, so it's not very big, but I'll see if we can do it for that